Do you remember the students' names? I wonder if it's around your time.
No, they were very unusual names. But names I'd never heard.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I'm sure it's on the website probably.
No,
I think I heard about that. Well, I get Art Center
yeah, stuff all the time.
a bulletin, you know, in the email. So.
Yeah.
All right.
So tell us some stories about Grandma.
Stories about Grandma. What did she tell you?
I said
that
you might be coming back. They asked you to come back and tell some stories.
Well, you were very
Are
young.
you on the Bottle Village Committee? Or?
I am.
Just
Oh,
married.
you are? Okay. And what was your name again?
Nelson.
Nelson. Jeff.
Nice to meet you.
So you were
well,
very
I met her
young?
in like 75, I think. You know, and I lived out here, and I'd gone by it lots of times. Didn't pay a lot of attention to it because you really, even though there was some vacant land here, it wasn't real visible from the street.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually after high school. I was going to Moore Park College briefly before I went to Art Center.
Yeah.
And she was in a show called Naives and Visionaries, which was at the Minneapolis, the Walker Art Center, Center in Minneapolis. And my art history teacher happened to mention that, so I thought, oh, you know, I got to come over here and check this out. And when I came back here, I was just amazed because it was quite deceiving what was really back here.
And still in its heyday,
still is.
too.
Yeah, and it was, you know, it was intact.
Yeah.
It was a little dirty, and a few things were run down because she had actually moved away and then moved back.
Yeah.
And had sold the property already. But we just became good friends, you know. I started hanging around. She was a little leery of me at first.
This young guy with long
Used to offer me
hair
money
down
to
his
get a
back.
haircut even then, you know. But
Never did.
no, she got it, you know. And I became good friends with her sister, and you know, her and her sister and I. We went to San Francisco to a show she was in. We went to La Jolla to a show.
Took her to Watts Towers. She used to come in for Thanksgiving.
We had
over
our
to his
Thanksgiving,
house
her
for
and her
years.
sister over for years. Here's a picture of the Women's Building, which was kind of an art center down on Spring Street in Los Angeles, did an exhibition on Bottle Village. So we're talking maybe 1977 or something. And it was her, I think it was her 80th birthday, and then we came back, I took her down there, and we came back and we made a hat out of the stuff that was on the cake, you know?
Can you see it?
Can you see?
That is so like her.
Yeah, so it's cool. And then here's a picture of her and her sister at Watts Towers.
Oh, that's nice.
These are photos you shot.
Yeah, a long time ago. Some slides I scanned. So.
Well, you know a lot of history from a period that's, you know, not a lot of people.
Vague and nebulous.
a lot of people wouldn't know.
He used to take some people on tours when she was too tired to take them around. Would she charge them? Do you remember?
A quarter.
50 cents or a buck, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had a little. You had an MG, was it?
No, I had a Triumph Spitfire.
Yeah.
Close.
And you know, was it did it have a hardtop or was it a convertible? Yeah, and that was like Harold and Maude.
I used to
time.
take her to lunch at, there was a place called Nappy's.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if is it still there?
I don't know.
doubt
Do you remember that though? Or,
I remember Nappies, yeah.
and I can always remember they had something on the menu called Pappy Parker's Fried Chicken, which is all she ever ate.
Yeah.
So it was not uncommon to find an old chicken bone on the sofa in her trailer, you know, that she would forget. I go,
Bring
oh,
home
look
the
at that.
leftovers. Yeah.
Very funny.
Grandma, she was just saying she remembers seeing her gnawing on the chicken bones.
Did she have her real teeth still, or it was like, is she gumming on them, or?
Now she's trying to get the last bit.
Yeah.
But she was a character, especially have you seen the film The Knives and Visionaries?
I don't think I've seen that one.
Because that was made like 80, 81, something like that. These two filmmakers up in San Francisco. Her sister's in there too, you know, but they were quite unusual, especially traveling with them because they were very different people.
Yes.
Grandma was a little crusty and, you know, would swear and, you know, and stuff. And her sister was very proper,
words.
demure, and you know, soft-spoken.
I always saw her wearing like hats and stuff.
Yeah,
balls.
but I mean, they were you wouldn't
Night and
peg
day.
them as sisters. They didn't look very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the films that I saw, they're kind of arguing, They're both in there. They're
It's
kind of
probably
arguing.
that one, yeah.
Yeah, and her sister is, you know, obviously a little jealous because she thinks grandma
Her notoriety.
Yeah.
is
Notoriety.
very well off. You know, she's wealthy.
Oh, yeah,
Every-
yeah,
Everybody's giving her money.
Yeah.
She charges people to come
Big
in.
50
Yeah.
cents at a time.
Yeah.
Well, Hattie had like a third or a half an acre on Alamo, just a little house.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny because she was 99 when she died. She was still she had been driving, I think, up to about a year before that with no glasses. Didn't need glasses. And my sister
Wow.
bought her car.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Julie,
right.
Yeah, Julie bought Hattie's.
And didn't she say she bumped something and she said that was it? Remember?
She bumped a little sandwich board with a, one of those things with a,
Backing up.
road flasher. They were
Yeah.
doing some work out on the street. She bumped into that and she thought, oh, I better stop driving.
And yeah, and you remember too when Grandma they asked her, said, the cop pulled her over. You know, you don't have any taillight.
Well,
I
that's in
know.
the film,
yeah.
Okay,
I
that's
can't
so
tell it the way
cute.
she-
Okay,
But Hattie
good
was
I know it. I don't
she
have
was
any license.
pretty
You
amazing
know
too.
that?
I always thought it was this sort of justice that happened because her husband was in a wheelchair for like 40 years, so her life was really
Grandma's?
no, Hattie's.
Oh.
And he had some
Wow.
blood disorder thing, and so when after she passed, she was just still in really sharp and in great health. I mean, for a long time. So it was sort of her life was very constricted prior to that. She always had friends, and
So,
Grandma had acquaintances.
Yeah.
She's a little too crusty for too
Most
many good
people.
friends. She's very set in her ways.
Did you ever see her when she was making this or
I
building?
used to help her with stuff. By the time I met her, it was occasionally she'd mix a little cement to try to repair something. So she would show me. And so we did a little patching here or there. She would still sit down and decorate things every once in a while. Maybe make some kind of collage of stuff. Just like that
Pencil board or
hat. When she'd get stuff or people would bring her things, she'd make something. And occasionally people would bring something by, a board and some stuff. And, here, Grandma, people used to do that. And
But-
also, she made rugs. I don't know, did you guys see any of the rugs she's made on her?
No.
Oh,
what,
yeah,
the
I still
weaving?
have one,
The
remember?
weaving type?
No, she would get old pieces of fabric. People would bring sweaters and things like that.
Uh-huh.
And she used to cut strips and she darned them together in these patterns that are kind of elaborate.
Huh.
And she used to sell the rugs,
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I have a rug somewhere.
Did
Yeah.
she ever say where she started?
Where?
From this?
Here.
I know, but
She said
Was
the
it
very
actually a
first
building?
house up on the left here, on the east, whatever that was. That's what she said she started with.
And she said she started the year he was born, 1956.
But she had seen. I know there was a couple bottle houses out in Arizona or some other places. People had done a few bottle houses, and she had seen that. So that's, I think she wanted to add something on because all they had was that trailer, and so she
Thought, I can do
said,
that.
"Oh, I can do that. It's cheap, and there's a dump down here. I'll go down there and get stuff." So, yeah, but she had a lot of energy.
Yeah.